Momentum. If you are on a swing and your 2 feet are on the ground, you're not swinging. You're not gaining any momentum. But as soon as you lift those legs up, you start maybe to, kick them forwards, you move your arms, you move your body, you're swinging them, yeah? Momentum. You gain that momentum, and if you can get enough momentum, you can do like a 360 on the swing. Same if you're standing still. You can think about a lot of stuff when you're standing still, like stand up, stand still. You can think about changing the world, attaining all of this knowledge and success, whatever success means to you. But you're not going to move from point A to B if you're standing still. But as soon as you start moving those legs, you start walking, stuff starts to happen. So you need to start moving. And this is something that I've obviously known for a very long time, but you forget these things. You forget these elementary things that if you're not moving, you're not moving. You're not getting anywhere. And I was listening to all of these podcasts, literally 2 podcasts a day. I have time to listen to 2 podcasts a day because I work as a postman, walk a lot, Bluetooth headphones in. I know they're not good for you, but Bluetooth headphones in, walking, listening to podcasts, attaining all of this knowledge, but I'm not doing anything with that knowledge. Half of it, more than half of it, I forget. And then, what? I'm not doing anything about it. There's literally no incentive made from me to apply this knowledge into my own life. Yes, I acknowledge that I learned these things. I listen, I learn, but I don't apply, so I forget, right? So what ends up happening is you end up doing the same thing as you're standing, thinking about everything, but not moving. You're not moving. So what would be the first step to move towards the right direction if you're listening to podcasts? Like, let's say in my case, listening to 2 podcasts a day, Diary of a CEO, good podcast or good guests, what would be the first step for me to move in the right direction? Well, maybe to make some notes on the podcast. I can listen to the podcasts and make it a conscious effort to remember everything in the podcast, all the important bits, take out all the bullshit, remember the good bits, come back home and write them down on a notepad. Well, this is a step forward. This will ensure that I remember stuff better. I will remember the good bits. And then I can read whatever I wrote and say, okay, this actually makes a lot of sense. Maybe I should start applying some of these things into my own life. And take, let's say, the first 3 lines that I wrote and say, okay, how can I apply this to my own life? Let's say the first thing says, natural sunlight is very good for you in the morning. I can know that, but if I don't do anything with this information, then I'll forget it. So write it down on a notepad. Cool. Read it. How can I apply this to my life? Okay. As soon as I wake up, go outside, stay outside for 5 minutes, and then get on with my day. Perfect. And so on. If you learn a valuable piece of information, write it down and see how can you apply this to your own life so it makes a difference, it makes an impact for your own life. This is moving forward. This is progressing. If you will look at YouTube videos, let's say you're watching this video right now, and you're just watching it for pleasure, watching it to spend time proactively, to spend time tricking your brain into thinking that it's doing something productive. Well, it's not going to work because, yeah, you may be tricking your brain, but this is basically just lying to yourself that you're being productive. You're just wasting time. But to change that, you can actually change very quickly by making notes, by jotting down different things and saying, okay, how can I apply this to my own life? Obviously, whenever you listen to a podcast or watch a YouTube video that's educational in some ways, people's experiences are different. They can explain things that work well for them. But you can think, how can I apply this to my own life? Because obviously it'll be a different application to your own life. People have different routines, have different habits. So for you to do the same thing that they're doing, you may need to change things. You may need to adjust certain things to suit it better for your own life, to make it more accurate to your own life. So this is movement. This is actually moving forward, and this will then gain momentum. And as soon as you start doing something, right, then you may do something else. You may pick up other things. Like, stagnation is the worst thing that can really happen to you in life. If you're stagnant and you're not progressing in life, especially for a man, you are going to feel like you have no purpose, and you'll feel like there's no point to life. You'll feel like there's no point to living in this world if you're not progressing. If there's no progress, then what's the point? Every day is the same, gets mundane, gets boring, and you get depressed. But as soon as you start progressing and noticing that something is changing, doesn't matter if it's changing towards the worse or the better, but if it's changing, change is exciting. Every single bit of change that goes on in your life is exciting. It's a difference. What does change mean? Change means differences. And differences are exciting. It's a variable in life that is unpredictable. And unpredictability in our own lives is exciting. It's fucking cool. Like, it's like gambling, right? I used to be a gambler. So for me this concept is more exciting than for you maybe, but change is unpredictable. You don't know whether your action will have a positive or negative reaction. Obviously, most actions that are in your head that you think will have a positive reaction will have a positive reaction. But there's a slight chance that it will have a negative reaction. And this gambling, this playing with your life is exciting. It's a variable that's unknown. So if you gain momentum, you do this change in your life, you apply this habit, maybe you're trying to change something, and you do something differently, then you may have an outcome that is completely different to how your expectations were. You may think, okay, this is going to do A, or B, but it does like fucking Z. It's completely different outcome than you thought it was going to be. Like, let's say, again, the same example, looking into natural sunlight. You may think, okay, I'll apply this to my life and maybe I will start to feel a little bit better during the day. But boom, you're feeling way better during the day, and then this little application has actually completely transformed your sleep. You didn't know that this little change will completely transform your sleep. Like, you may have been an insomniac for like 10 years, but now spending 5 or 10 minutes outdoors as soon as you wake up, looking into natural light, into the sun, will completely change your sleep cycle. You'll start sleeping better, and now your insomnia has been completely cured. Now you know that this is a vital thing for you to do every single day. So continue doing that every single day. Now that your insomnia is gone, you're performing better in all aspects of your life, and your life quality has improved completely. Just by doing something, you've gained momentum, and your outcome is completely different. Even though it's a positive outcome, it's completely surpassed your expectations. So don't stand there and just think about doing stuff. Actually do stuff. There's no point to you thinking about stuff and not putting it into action. All you're doing is procrastinating. This is the true meaning of procrastinating. Thinking about doing something but not doing it. It's harmful for not only your future self, but for your brain. Because if you keep on thinking that, oh, I'm going to do this, these things build up, and you'll just see yourself as a loser at the end of it. Because you wanted to do all of these things, and then you'll end up regretting not doing them. You'll start procrastinating, and every single bit of procrastination ends up in regret. So, movement. You need to start moving. Same thing happened to me. I didn't upload videos for 3 weeks. I was trying to figure out what was wrong with my self-identity crisis, and I could have just kept uploading videos. And I didn't. I didn't upload videos for 3 weeks. But you know what? I should have. I should have just kept exploring what was wrong with my self identity. I made a video about that just earlier. You can click on my channel and watch the earlier video. But I could have been uploading videos at the same time and figuring out what is going through, like what is going on with my identity, and still uploading videos. I could have been documenting my progress. I could have been just talking about it. But this would have been motion. This would have been doing something. Even though the outcome, I could think that the outcome could be negative. Like, get no views, no one's interested in my videos. But I could have just documented this whole thing of me trying to figure out what's wrong with my self-identity, what's wrong with my self-beliefs, and people could have found it interesting. Could have been like, wow, this is the only channel on YouTube that's doing this, and could have gotten like, thousands of subscribers and views, and would have been good. But instead, I said, you know what? I think the outcome is going to be negative, so I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to take things into motion. I'm just going to stand and think. And that's what I did. And not that standing and thinking didn't help. It was okay, but actually moving and talking, let's say I put on the camera just like I am now, talking in front of the camera and trying to figure out things in real time, talk about my feelings, talk about my self-identity. This would have been so much more beneficial to me than to just think about it, because once you're talking about it, it's putting things into perspective, putting things into action. So again, what did this turn into? Regret. Inaction turned into complete regret. Oh, I have a Christmas tree on my face. But yeah, every single bit of inaction will transform into regret. So don't just listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos. If you gain a piece of information that you find interesting, write it down. Think of how can you apply this to your own life, and then do it. Who gives a shit if it gets like no views? In my case, like uploading a video gets no views. Who gives a shit? It's my own action that matters. I'm putting things into action. The outcome, now that's not up to me. The outcome is sometimes not up to me. It's up to chance and luck. So you may be surprised of what the outcome is going to be. So as long as you're moving and not staying stagnant, stagnation leads to regret. That's it for this video. As always, peace, and I'll see you next time.